Hello everybody, I'm Tim. Welcome to Drum Sound 360, episode 1, how to sound like that drum machine from the 80s. Now, why would I want to do that, you may ask? Wouldn't it be much easier to use an actual drum machine? To which I would reply, yes. But you live, you learn, and I learned so much doing the research for this thing that I'm sure that if you stay with me all the way to the end of this video, you'll take away a thing or two yourself. By the way, the first part of this video is going to be this, talking about microphones, heads, and tunings, and the second part is going to be over there at my computer showing you what I did to the poor signals. So I bet that you already guessed that I used the Lindrum LM2 as a model for this experiment. Now let's start with the hi-hat. So to my ears there are three key elements to the sound of the hi-hat, and that's first the really dingy, clean bell sound that I got from this microphone. Second, a white noisy shh sound that I found on the side of the hi-hat. And third, there's this really good amount of low frequencies that come from playing with the tip of the stick on the bow of the hi-hat. Now the snare drum is really interesting to me because I would never have guessed that the trick to this punchy in-your-face snare sound is this ugly towel. The top mic is very far in to capture the low end. The bottom mic is pretty conventional. And the overhead is there for the nice mids. The tuning. The bottom head is cranked up all the way as far as it goes. The snare wires are rather loose because I wanted to have something to cut off with the noise gate. And with the top head, I started really low and then worked my way up to the point where the drum gave me the most resonance. And that sounds like this. That's not pretty, but now I take a plastic ring and a piece of gel and puff the magic towel. Et voila! The craziest element of this bass drum sound, at least to me, is the kick. I tried several different mic positions inside the drum before this dangerous solution came to my mind. And it sounds like this. Then there's a pretty standard in and out combination for the punch. And an old hi-fi speaker cabinet as subkick for the low frequencies. As a first step, before tuning the bass drum, I put a feather pillow inside the drum that touches both heads. And then, with a better head, I started with a high tuning and worked my way down to the point where I got a really nice, clean kick. Especially because I'm using the plastic side of the beater. It happens that it bounces off the head and produces double kicks like and the tuning is still not very low, so it's a good mix of punch and clean kick. And the same goes for the front head. The tuning is medium so that the out mic too can catch some of that nice punch. Welcome back to part 2 of this video, and welcome to a little bit of chaos, because the method here was I had a sound in mind and then I went looking for it and I turned every knob I could find to get there. And this is what happened. Here's the bass drum as a whole. And here's what I call the craziest element of this bass drum sound before, and that is the kick. Okay, this is with plugins, and this is without. Funny. This This is really like fix it in the mix. Okay, step 1, EQ, high and low cut, and then a gate to clean it up. And then, because I figured they used tape machines in the 80s, a tape machine emulation, a little in the red for some dirt, and then this. Preamp for some more dirt, then EQ. Now it is back. Some really drastic high shelf, some mids, then some low mids taken out, and low cut at 500 Hertz, then compression. And then this magic machine adds some shimmer and thickness, meaning some high frequencies and punch, for lack of a better word. Here's the middle part of the sound, and that's the in and out mics. I grouped them and treated them together, and that sounds like this. It's with plugins. This is without. Now, what did I do? Tape machine, of course. And preamp, of course. And then some EQ, some really drastic high shelf, some low boost at 93 Hertz. Yes, some low mids taken out. Compression. And finally, not finally, then a gate to clean the whole thing up. And the special thing about this gate is it's triggered by the kick signal, because there was too much bleed on the in and out mic. So the gate didn't work properly. But now finally some more high shelf. You can never have enough high shelf. Here is this U87 that I wanted to use for the snare drum only, but it worked really well on the bass drum too, and so I duplicated the track, gated it same way I gated the in and out signals, sidechained by the kicked signal, and then okay, tape machine, I don't have to tell you that, as well as the preamp. And then I used the EQ to focus on the mids, and then bring them out some more with a compressor. And here was a little frequency that I didn't like, so I pulled it out. And now the subkick. That is with plugins. That is without. And this is what happened. I needed some 60 Hertz, I guess. So I did this, and then I can only switch it on together with gate, because otherwise my speakers would explode. Then tape machine. Preamp, EQ, some more bass, why not? And then this 15 dB at almost 4K did something good to the signal. And finally compression. And here's the snare drum as a whole. Okay, the top mic is really there for the boom. That's with plugins. And this is without. A little disappointing. Then there is this minor EQ to get rid of some unwanted frequencies. Then the tape machine in the red for some dirt. A really short gate because I wanted the top mic to be shorter than the bottom mic. And then this preamp really in the red for some more dirt, and then this EQ for high shelf and high mid boost, and then some serious bass boost as well, around 60 Hertz. And then now let's smash it with a hammer. And here's the snare bottom mic. Make it. It's a really good signal, but it's a little too tame for what I wanted. So I added a low cut with sharp teeth. Haha. Then a gate, just a little longer than the top mic, as I said. So the sound is like from the top mic and from the bottom afterwards. And then tape machine, very red. And then the preamp, which adds some clarity, that is great. And then some more clarity, nice highs and high mids. And then hit it. Interesting. Okay, now we have really strong top and bottom mic signals, but what's missing is the interesting part, and that is this microphone. I was going for that sound that you hear when somebody hits somebody on the head in a funny movie. This is without plugins. It's really nothing like that, so you needed a little bit of work. First, got rid of some frequencies I didn't like. Then a gate, tape machine, nothing too special. Then the preamp, and then this telephone sound. And compression, of course, and another gate, because just one couldn't get the job done. Okay, here's the hi-hat top mic. By the way, when I started this experiment, I thought that I could shape all the signals with gates, but that didn't work with the hi-hat. So as you can see here, every stroke looks different, so a gate has no clue what to do. Yeah, so I had to cut everything manually, which sucked, of course. Yeah, anyway, here's the hi-hat top without plugins, which is pretty much what it is. Then some EQ, tape machine, preamp, and then this pretty intense high boost, some more highs, then the gate from that time that I talked about but not working anymore, and compression. And we are down to our last signal, which is the hi-hat side, and I'm really happy and excited about finding that. I haven't heard that before. That's without. So starting with a low cut, a gate triggered by the top mic to make it really short. Then a tape machine, very much in the red. And finally, the preamp, EQ, high shelf, and some more low cut. and even more high shelf, but just shimmer and no thickness, please. And that is how you sound like a drum machine from the 80s. If you like that video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.